All right, notes for exponents. Always put your name and the date that you're taking your notes. I'm making this video today, the 21st, 2020, and I have algebra second period, third period, um, fifth period, seventh period, and eighth period. So you make sure you put your period here or when you take these notes. All right, we're doing exponent rules, and one of the things you don't want to forget is you want to know how to deal with polynomials that have exponents. So let me zoom in on this problem. Here we have 9x to the second power y and 10x to the second power y. These two have the same exponents. So when we're doing this, I'm looking at this portion, and they're the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what is 9 minus 10? 9 minus 10 is a negative 1. So I have a negative 1 x squared y, or it can be written as a negative x squared y. So that's what it's equal to. This statement says subtract 6w from 8w. That means 8w minus 6w, which yields 2w. Notice the variable didn't change. I just dealt with the coefficients. 8 minus 6 is 2. Now let's go to exponent rules. When we talk about exponents, we're talking about the number here. So the first one we're going to do is called the product rule. Product, the word product means to multiply. So if I'm multiplying the base, which is x to the a and x to the b, I am going to add the exponents. So when this is being multiplied, the exponents are being added. So let's see what that example looks like. H to the second, h to the sixth. That's h to the 2 plus 6, which is h to the 8. Right? Here, you want to separate out your things. So you have a negative 2 times 7, a squared times a cubed, and b times b. Why do I separate it? Because my coefficients go with each other. My a squared and a cubed go together, and my b and b go together. So this comes out to be a negative 14, a to the fifth, b to the second. How did I get 2? Because there's an invisible 1 here for each of those b's. So my answer is negative 14, a to the fifth, b to the second. That's called the product rule. The power rule is when an exponent is raised to a power. So we have an exponent by the parentheses. And so just to remind us, we'll write that. Exponent by the parentheses. This looks kind of blurry this time. There we go, a little better. So when we have x, a raised to b, we have x to the a times b. So when you have this kind of situation, you're multiplying exponents. When you have two bases with the different exponents, you add them. That's your product rule. Here is your power rule. So what does that look like? If I have x to the second raised to the third, then that's x to the 2 times 3, which is x to the 6. Here we have a mixture. We have negative 2 m5 raised to the second. So that means negative 2 raised to the second, m5 times 2, and then we have m to the 3. So now we have to go, we do this, and then we're going to go back to the product rule because we're going to have a negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. M to the 10th times m to the third. What does this quantity look like? It looks like this. So now it's starting to get a mixture of exponents. So our final answer is going to be 4m to the 13th. This is your final answer. Right? Next one is called the quotient rule. The quotient rule, quotient means to divide. So I'm going to divide. If I'm seeing a division here, this is quotient. I'm going to subtract the exponent, so that's going to be a minus b. Let's see what that looks like. Now, let's separate it out. So we got our 27 and our 42 here. We have x to the 5th and x. Now, when x is by itself, just like above when we talked about the b's by themselves, we know there was an invisible 1 there. So same here. We have x to the 1. So the top is 27 over 42. We want to simplify that. So the 27 over 42 is second, quit. Make sure your calculator is set up. And we're going to press alpha y equals. Alpha y equals brings up a menu that allows you to choose 1 for a fraction. We're going to put 27, and at the bottom, we're going to put 42 and press enter. That comes out to be 9 over 14. So I know that is 9 over 14. Notice I didn't subtract those, but here I'm going to do x to the 5 minus 1. So my answer is 9x to the 4 divided by 14. So remember, I didn't try to make this 27 minus 42 because this is division. This is a quotient, division. 27 divided by 42 simplifies to 9 over 14. We subtract the exponents. So whenever we see something like this, we're going to subtract the exponents. When they're next to each other, we add the exponents. When it's raised to a power, we multiply the exponents. So that's the difference. So how are we going to do this one? Well, this is to the power. So this 2 times 2 over y to the 4. And this turns to y to the 4 over y to the 4. So that's y to the 4 minus 4, which is y to the 0. Y to the 0 power is simply 1. So that's a new rule snuck in there. Anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. But notice that this was to the power, so that was 2 times 2, y over 4. Now, you're just writing notes. Don't allow yourself to get confused. Write the notes very precisely, and that way you have examples to go back to know how to do it. Let's do the notes on negative exponent. This is what a negative exponent looks like. If you see a negative exponent, you want to put it in the denominator if it's in a numerator and make the exponent positive. Here, we have a negative 5. That's just a coefficient. But we're going to put the x negative 2 at the bottom. So this answer becomes a negative 5 divided by x to the 2nd power. Simple as that. Here we have 4 and 8. Notice I'm separating them. K to the 2 and k to the 5. We're going to subtract the exponents. So 4 over 8, go to your calculator. If you don't remember how to deal with it, alpha y equals 1. I'll put 4 divided by 8 comes out to be 1/2. So I know this number here is 1/2. It's not a negative 4, it's 1/2. Then it's going to be k to the 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is a negative 3. So we have 1/2 k to the negative 3. But if you have a negative exponent, you put it in the bottom. So in the bottom meaning the denominator. So this comes out to be 1 over 2k cubed. And the 3 is now positive because it's in the denominator. So we take this from the numerator to the denominator and make the exponent positive. Last but not least is the 0 rule. Anything to the 0 power is just 1. So this would be 7 times 1, which is just 7. This is power rule, so it's 4 times 2 over W8. This is going to be W to the 8th power. So there's W to the 8th over W to the 8th power. We have to subtract, so it's going to be W to the 8 minus 8, which is W to the 0, which is 1. Right. These are your notes. And what you're going to do now is you're going to do some mixed review and check out our poster in class. We're going to have a poster up to help you with trying to do these. You have to do a lot of them in order to get proficient with them. All right? That's it.